You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, you know what's going on. Today I'm ranking some of the most common stereotypes of American people. And I'm ranking them based off of how accurate I think they are, being an American myself. Anyways, without further ado, let's get right into the video. This first one's probably the most common one on the list, and that's the stereotype that Americans are fat. I'm sure that most people watching this video have heard this one, and that's because it's really just true. Like, being an American myself, I see so many fat people all the time. Like, every day, I see at least 10 morbidly obese people. And it's not even funny. For example, I ride the bus home to school, but on the way home, the bus has to stop at the middle school to pick up the middle schoolers. Now, I like to look out the window of the bus, and every day, I see at least 3 people who, I'm not even exaggerating, look like a sphere. Some of these people are as wide as they are tall. How do you achieve that build? Keep in mind, these people walking by are 12 and 13-year-old kids. And it's like, I'm not even trying to insult them right now. I'm just asking, how can a 12-year-old kid weigh 400 pounds? That is honestly just concerning. That's like insanely unhealthy. And honestly, I blame their parents. Other than that, though, we also gotta look at the statistics. According to a quick Google search, about 40% of American citizens are obese. That means we rank 10th place in the world for obesity. To defend my country a little bit here, though, the stereotype is Americans are fat. And that's kinda true, but it's not saying 40% of Americans are fat. It's just Americans are fat. And not every American is fat, just a lot of us are. So, I guess I'm gonna have to put this stereotype in A tier. This next stereotype here directly relates to the first one, and that's the stereotype that Americans eat really unhealthy food all the time. I feel like this one's pretty intuitive. Americans are fat, therefore they eat a lot of unhealthy foods. It only makes sense. I mean, it is true. Look at all the fast food places we have here. McDonald's, Subway, Popeyes, which is better than KFC and Chick-fil-A combined, and you can't tell me otherwise. We also got Dunkin' Donuts, which claims to be breakfast, even though it's clearly dessert. On top of that, a lot of the food sold in stores here is just like ultra-processed food. I mean, American cheese is called American cheese for a reason. Don't even get me started on eating cereal for breakfast every day. Okay, so it's pretty obvious. Americans eat a lot of unhealthy foods. But to my country's defense again, when you don't have a lot of money and the cheapest food is also the most unhealthy, most processed food, you don't really have a choice. Still though, I'm gonna have to put this stereotype in A tier with the obesity one. The next stereotype is that we're obnoxious and loud. I feel like, yeah, compared to most of the countries in Europe, America is a pretty loud country, except for Ireland. They're way louder than us. But in the grand scheme of things, compared to all the countries in the world, America's kind of like a mid-tier country in the terms of loudness. You see, like, Europe is mainly quiet. Then, like, Japan, China, and Korea are all pretty quiet. But then there's also loud countries, like India, Mexico. Just all the countries in the Middle East are kind of loud. Yeah, they're definitely the loudest. And then the mid-tier is obviously America, Canada, I guess. Maybe Russia. They're kind of the same level as us Americans and how loud they are. So I'm gonna have to rank this stereotype in B tier, because only compared to some countries are we loud. The next stereotype that I have on my list here is that we love guns. Immediately, I gotta say, this is half accurate and half inaccurate. You see, in the United States, you either love guns more than your own family, or you absolutely despise them, and there is no in-between. And I feel like it's almost split 50-50 down the middle. Half the people love them, half the people hate them. So while not everyone in the United States loves guns, almost everyone here is passionate about guns. Even the people who hate guns still care a lot about whether they should be allowed or not be allowed. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is there's a difference between love and passion. Passion can mean both love and hate. Because of that, I'm definitely not going to put this stereotype in S tier. But still though, I'm probably going to have to say A tier, because I mean, half the people loving guns is still a lot of people, so it is still pretty accurate. The next stereotype is that we're addicted to caffeine. This one is so easy to determine. Think about all the people in the United States who have Starbucks every day. Think about all the energy drinks in stores across America that have 300 milligrams of caffeine in them. I mean, come on now, that is an insane amount of caffeine. No one should be having that much caffeine in one sitting under any circumstances. At that point, you might as well just be having cocaine. Easy S tier. This is the most accurate stereotype in the video so far. At this point, I might as well get another really accurate stereotype out of the way, and that is that we're obsessed with football. American football, that is. Americans are as obsessed with football as Kim Jong-un is basketball. If you didn't know this already, Kim Jong-un loves watching basketball. I mean, football is some people's personality in the United States. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, let me get to the point. S tier. This is just as accurate, if not more accurate than the coffee one. This next stereotype is that Americans don't know geography. Here's my problem with that. You Europeans think you're so much better than us Americans because you can recognize every country in Europe by pointing it out on a map. But guess what? I can do the same thing except with US states instead of European countries. I had to learn how to recognize every state for school, and I assume schools in Europe teach the same thing except with Europe instead of the United States. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is, what's the difference? The United States is basically the same size as Europe. The United States is basically just the European Union, except one language and worse politics. And if you're European and watching this video, I bet you don't even recognize what this state is by looking at it on a map. It's Missouri, by the way. But I mean, so what if you can't recognize Missouri on a map? I can't recognize North Macedonia on a map. And let's be real for a second here. It doesn't matter at all. If you're European and you're watching this video, there's no shot you're ever gonna go to Missouri unless you have relatives living there. And there's no shot I'm ever gonna go to North Macedonia, because I just have no reason to go there. Do you see what I mean? Americans have no reason to learn all the European countries, and the Europeans have no reason to learn all the American states. We're equal at geography, except we both just learn different things based on where we live. Alright, after my extremely long rant about why Americans aren't bad at geography, I definitely gotta give this stereotype a D tier. I mean, what were you expecting? The second to last stereotype is that Americans are overly patriotic. I feel like this really only applies to about 10% of Americans, and the other 90% just don't care that much. That being said, those 10% of Americans really like to put themselves into the public eye. Whether it be going to some kind of protest or rally or wearing the American flag or having it on a flagpole out front of their house, these people just really love to glaze the United States. On top of that, schools in America try to get you to stand up and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag every day at 8 in the morning. And to be honest, no one in my class even does that. No one cares. I mean, I'm not about to stand up and recite a paragraph of words every day when I just woke up. I guess you could argue that it's about respecting your country, honoring the people who fought in all the wars. But I mean, that's what we have Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day for. Plus, I already am in an allegiance with the United States, which I'm pretty sure just means, loyalty or something. I don't know. I mean, I was born here, I was raised here, and there's no shot I'm moving out of here anytime soon. And it's not like I'm just gonna suddenly become a Chinese spy out of nowhere. So what's the point of me pledging my allegiance to the United States every morning? I specifically remember in elementary school, if you didn't stand up and say the pledge, the teacher would get all mad at you. And I just really can't understand that. Why do you care? This reminds me of something that North Korea would do. In high school, though, the teachers don't really care whether you say it or not, and I think that's nice, because I always found it annoying. So anyways, not a lot of people here are actually that patriotic, but the ones who are really patriotic are the ones you see on the news all the time. Plus, the education system tries to get us to say the pledge every morning, and I would definitely count that as a form of patriotism. The icing on the cake is the fact that when you search up what's the most patriotic country in the world, the United States is the first thing that shows up, and I feel like that's pretty accurate. So I'm gonna rank this stereotype at S tier. The last stereotype I have for this video is that Americans are just really unnecessarily political. I really hate the fact that this isn't even a stereotype. I mean, I would just consider it a fact. It's just true. And honestly, I hate the fact that this is a fact, if you know what I'm saying. Because that means that it's just annoying to live in the United States. because everyone's constantly disagreeing with one another, getting into arguments with one another because they're like part of different political parties or something. Like, oh my god. Shut up. Shut up. Seriously. It's just annoying. Like, I know I'm crashing out right now, and I kind of sound like that guy who said,
Can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
but I don't care. This is a reasonable crash out. And if you're from the United States, you could probably agree that this is a reasonable crash out. Why can't we just be more like Iceland? Everyone living there is just like a chill guy. Like a chill, peaceful guy. Why can't we just do that? It would be so much better. Alright, I'm done. I'm done crashing out, and I'm ranking this stereotype at S tier, because it literally could not be more true. Because, you know, Americans are just really overly political for no reason. And it's annoying. But still, it's true. Anyways, that just about wraps up today's video. Let me know in the comment section below if you think I should have changed anything on my list, or if it was spot on. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. And also join the Discord server using the link in my channel's description. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.